Hey there, my name's Crady. I'm not a teacher or a guru or an expert on anything. I'm just a girl on the beach trying to get through life one new age hippie life hack at a time. So stick around and I'll let you know if this one's worth it. Now let's get back to the beach. Good morning. Welcome to the dock. My name's Crady, and it's a little bit gray here today, but it's still beautiful. It's a little bit chilly. I should have brought a sweater. Anyway, so today I'm really excited. If you've never joined me before, thank you. Welcome. What I like to do is I like to go meditate and review the meditations, guided meditations. So different ones that you can find on YouTube. And I'll provide a link, so if you want to check it out yourself, you can. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this meditation from Bob Proctor, and it's called Bob Proctor's Powerful Paradigm Shift Meditation. And this is what it says in the description. Ever feel stuck in life like you're banging your head against the wall? This meditation will help you free up your thinking, open your mind, and get past any limitations you've been experiencing. Listen as often as possible for maximum effectiveness. Now, I just discovered Bob Proctor a little while ago, and I haven't done any of his other meditations. I mean, I've done one other, his meditation on abundance, so I'm pretty excited to see what this one is about. A lot of times when I wake up at night, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I can't get back to sleep, I'll put on his abundance meditation, just kind of like doze off to it. He's got a really soothing voice. I love it. Ooh, chilly. I'm looking forward to doing this one. I'm feeling a little bit stuck in some areas. You know, I feel like I could use a little oomph. But everything mostly is going pretty well. But there are a few areas in my life that I just really want to kickstart. So I've been working on that. I've got some fitness goals and some career goals, and you know, I'm looking for something to sort of help ease me into these things without so much angst that I feel sometimes over them. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a shot. All right, let's see what happens. And while I'm meditating, while I'm doing it, I'm going to fast forward through it, you know, on your time. But I would really love it if during that time, if you would hit subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing here, if you get anything out of it at all, that would be great. That would make my day. I'm trying to get, well, I was going to go for 125 subscribers, but now I think I'm just going to go for 110. Little steps. Baby steps. So to get to 110 by the end of the month would be awesome. That would be great. So help me out. Help a sister out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this one. All right, I'll see you on the other side. You know, it was not what I expected. And I had a little bit of trouble, like, really getting into it because Hendrix is my little dog here. You probably saw wandering around. He was being a little bit squirrely. But I don't think he likes the dock very much. When we're at the beach, he's totally cool, but he's not allowed to be at the beach right now because of the beach rules during the summer. So I've been bringing him to the dock every once in a while, but he gets, I don't know, becomes like a toddler who wants to go home. So that was a little distracting. But you know, I don't know if I would really classify this so much as a guided meditation, I feel like it was more of a don't want to say sermon. That sounds too churchy. But what he does is he talks to you about this beautiful energy that is flowing through you and how you have all this power in every cell of your body. Oh, he does this thing where he has you look inside your skull. Now, I gotta say, I don't know what the inside of my skull looks like. My friend has an actual skull on his, like in a table in his house. So actually, I know what the inside of that skull looks like when it's all, dried and empty. So I guess that's what the inside of my skull would look like without the brains in it. I don't really know why he does this, but listen, I don't know why my friend has a skull in his house, but I also don't know why Bob Proctor does this thing with looking on the inside of your skull. I know he's done it in some other stuff I've listened to before. I think it has something to do with changing the way that your brain is, come on, Hendrix, changing the way that your brain is focusing on things. I'm not sure about that, but I think it's something that Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about as well, sort of scanning your body in a certain way to, bring some sort of, to sort of break some type of circuitry that's going on. Okay, Hendrix, I don't know where you think you're going, but your leash is attached to the cleat, so you're not going to go far. All right, I love you. Yes, I do. I love you. Yes, I do. He's so cute. So I took him to the groomer last week, and he totally flunked out of grooming. They put a cone around his head, but he kept going, rah, rah, rah. And they could only trim his body and a little bit of his tail. They couldn't do anything on his head. So he has this like poof on his head, and I think it's totally cute. Anyway, that is not why you're listening to me. So this Bob Proctor, so he goes on and he talks about seeing the inside of your skull and then seeing the inside of the rest of your body and stuff. I don't know if that part really worked for me, but I really like his message. And in it, he talks about that you have the power within you to shift out of whatever you've been programmed to do. We all are programmed by our parents and our friends and our teachers and society and TV. Do yourself a favor and just stop watching the news. Stop watching TV. I mostly watch YouTube. I watch movies, but ever since I stopped watching regular TV, which is, if you look at the TV lineup in the United States, it is so awful and scary and depressing and just makes you feel fear. And that is no way to go through life. And it seeps into us and it causes stress so you don't realize it's happening. So this is my recommendation. If you are someone who is feeling anxious and fearful or depressed, any of these things, easiest thing you can do right away to sort of get control of that is to stop watching the news and stop watching things like Dateline and 48 Hours and, Special Victims Unit, all these awful things. If it's funny, watch it. This is my recommendation. If it's funny, watch it. But most TV shows, they aren't really funny. I love stand-up comedy and stuff like that. So that's my recommendation. And while I was listening to Bob Proctor's musings and teachings, I'm not really sure what to call this one, I had my inner voice spoke to me and said that I should share a little bit of my story, because I did do a major paradigm shift. And I'm not going to get into too many specifics, but maybe this will help someone out there. So I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States, and I spent almost all of my life there except for when I was going to college. And I felt I had a lot of friends, and My family was there, everyone except for my brother. And I was living my life according to the path that had been laid out for me. All right. I went to the same schools my parents did. My kids went to the same schools I did. We did the same activities, and we wore the same types of clothes. And it was a very, I would say, conservative type of background, I would guess. Very much go to school, get good grades, get a job, work hard, raise your family, take them to soccer, take them to lacrosse, take them to field hockey. Make sure that you're totally involved in all these things that everybody you know is totally involved in. And I really had I had a nice life, absolutely. I'm not complaining about my life at all. And if you were to look at the life that I was living up until 2018, 2019, you would say, wow, what a lucky girl. I had a beautiful family, beautiful children, It seemed like from the outside that everything was going great. But I felt lost. And I got into a pretty dark place, I'd say. And I decided to completely change it up. I always wanted to be, I always wanted to live by the beach. I always wanted to I didn't need a big, huge life. I was okay with a small life, but I wanted to be warm, okay? Because I was so cold living in Baltimore most of the time. I was so cold. I would travel around with like a blanket. I was freezing. And that's not good. When you're cold all the time. I was cold sleeping. I was cold waking up. I was cold all through the day. So I wanted to be somewhere warm. And I really just always felt like I wanted to be by the water. I've always been happiest by the water. And so one day I made a decision that I was going to totally move. And it was a big decision that I made pretty quickly. Be quiet. I'm telling a story. And I picked up and I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, where I am now. I had no friends here. I had no family here. I came down here with no ties. And I was completely anonymous for the first time in my life. And I'll tell you what, that was awesome. I highly recommend it. I was able to just reprogram my own beliefs about who I am and the direction I wanted my life to go in. And I don't think I could have done that without such a drastic move. I was just surrounded by too many memories, too many expectations, too many people who thought I was one way, and too many opinions. I've got to say, I think one of the things that contributed most to my ability to turn my mind around and my happiness around and my spirit around was really just getting into a place where I wasn't talking to anybody about my problems and the things that made me sad. I think that's old energy, and I lived through it once, and I don't need to keep living through it again and again. I want to focus on the future and where I'm going. And I started going down to the beach in the mornings. If you've been watching my channel, or if you scroll back to the beginning, you'll see when I started doing this, I was always at the beach because I lived close to the beach then, closer. And I didn't work, so I could get up at sunrise and go down there. But now I work, and that doesn't really, I can't really do that anymore. But that's all right. I'm so lucky to be able to come here. Hendrix. Oh, goodness. All right. So Hendrix is not enjoying me telling the story. He really wants to go. So I would say that my personal experience was that once I cut out all the chatter and I started meditating, that helped a lot to just really start programming my mind with a vision of the future. And this is from Dr. Joe Dispenza. To be able to spend my time wiring my brain to see things as I want them to be in the future, and at the same time not engaging with the old paradigms. So tying back into this meditation from Bob Proctor, not engaging in those things and not talking about the old days and not talking about the problems that that really led to me starting a whole new life. And I feel so fortunate that I did those things. So the things that I would recommend doing if you're in that type of position, first of all, turn off the boob tube. Stop watching the news. Absolutely stop watching the news. Stop watching the news. Stop watching Tucker Carlson. Sorry. I have a lot of friends who are not going to appreciate that I said that, but I think that it all causes anxiety and fear and separation. And I think that the more separation we feel because of what we're being fed through television, the worse off our lives and our whole society is going to be. So turn that thing off. All it does is instill fear and worry. And I think in some cases paranoia. So no good. Get off social media. I don't like being on social media, but I sort of have to because of my job. Get off social media. You don't need to be comparing yourself to the best version, the curated version of everybody else's life. It's not real. They're just showing you the best parts. You know that. You do the same thing. And stop watching network TV or cable TV that's scary and fear-inducing and sad and depressing. Like all these shows on murder and abuse and just war and violence. Get it out of your life. Start watching stand-up comedy. There's a lot of it out there, and it is fun to watch. And you can find it on YouTube. You can find it, on Netflix or Amazon, whatever. And if you're interested in who I recommend, just put it in the comments, and I'll tell you who I recommend. I think that starting to watch stand-up comedy totally changed my life. Like that was mainly what I watched for probably like a year straight. And then meditating. Hopefully if you're watching this channel, you're already meditating. But I think that clearing my mind and starting to program it along a different paradigm was key. So I recommend this. I'm going to give this 2 thumbs up. I don't know if I would recommend it necessarily as a meditation to do over and over, although it seems like he thinks you should. I think once you get the message, which I've got the message, then move on to something else. But I think it's a beautiful message, and I think it's worth listening to. So I hope that helps. And, as far as my story goes, if you don't think that you can change everything in your life and change everything about it, I'm here to tell you that you can. I did it. And my life is completely different than it was 3 years ago. And the people around me, my friends and family who sort of watched with great trepidation as I seemingly fell off a cliff. I mean, what I did was, a lot of people were very concerned when I just picked up and moved to a city I'd never lived in, barely visited, and knew no one in. That was very concerning for a lot of my family and friends. And at the end of the day, they all recognize that it was the best thing for me. And just because you've lived your life one way your whole life, and just because everyone around you has this vision of you and who you are and what you're about, that doesn't mean it's true. What matters is what you think you are and what's inside of you, what's inside of your heart. And I urge you to find that and follow that. And Abraham Hicks gives some really good advice. And this is advice that I started using, and ever since I started using it, I keep getting happier. Follow your heart. If it feels good, follow that. If it doesn't feel good, wrong direction. Skip it. Don't do it. Listen to your heart. That's your inner voice. That's your inner being. Some would say God, some would say source. I don't really care what you call it. We've all got it. Trust your intuition. Trust it. So I hope this has helped. I know I kind of rattled on for longer than usual. What can I say? My inner voice told me to do it. All right, listen, have a great day. Thanks for sharing this time with me. And if you liked what I had to say, please leave a comment. If you have a story, I would love to hear your story. I really would. I really would love to hear it. So we are all in this together. All right, don't forget it. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.